Lloyd, we're going to talk to you in just a moment, but we're going to take a break right now, okay? Right now, Beechnut Lifesavers takes you to the world of good things to eat. Now, from Beechnut Babyland, an interview with a big game hunter. Tell me, please, how do you account for your amazing vitality and stamina? Oh, Beechnut baby foods? How long have you been eating them? Almost all your life? 8 months now, you say. You like Beechnut, do you? Really? That much? Because it comes from Beechnut Babyland, a very special place where food is best from the beginning. Like these beautiful beechnut green peas, each one a gem, given such lavish and loving care, so that all the good food nourishment, the special freshness and flavor of Beechnut Babyland are there to enjoy in every jar. What's that? Oh, sure, I'll tell them. Get Beechnut, the most babied foods in the world. What type of work do you do, Louis? I'm a chiropractor, John.
Yep, that's Johnny Carson. Got some found one of those old videos there. Yeah, where is that? Where is that? Where is that? There it is. Best of Johnny Carson and Friends. What's cool about these old things you find for $5 in the department store or whatever is that they got a lot of interstitial stuff. There's not just the shows. They have a whole bunch of commercials and station break stuff and network announcements, and I really like these. They're put out by a company called Mill Creek, I believe. Mill Creek. Then they've got a Jack Benny one and a Lucille Ball one and a Johnny Carson one. And if you get these, it's got a lot of hodgepodgey stuff on it, but it's got a lot of cool. It just shows you how TV really looked back in the 50s and 60s. So recommended. Hello, everybody. It's Dave TV for the 13th of September 2011. Okay, so we got an update. Yesterday I went on a big rant about why didn't the Washington Post run the story that Paul Farhi wrote about Dan Snyder pulling his lawsuit against the Washington City paper. They had run about 6 or 7 stories about the city paper suit and all that. The Snyder City paper suit against City paper. Why didn't they run it in the print edition anyhow, an article? It did appear on the web. Well, apparently it did appear in some print editions. Since Farhi, must have penned his piece. The news didn't actually come down until about 9 o'clock in the evening on Saturday night. So Farhi, according to the web, if you look on the date stamp, he finished his story or the last update of it about 11:30 or 11:45. So they must have put it in the sports section is what I'm hearing. The sports section of Sunday in the Washington Post. However, this is my sports section, and of course, there is no article on the front page about Dan Snyder pulling his lawsuit because, of course, like me and many Washington Post subscribers, we don't get the late edition of the sports section, okay? So only some of the people who get the Washington Post got to read the story. I don't know. The Post could do better than that. I guess there are some people that only read the print edition, and if you didn't get the late edition of the paper, you didn't get the story. Technically, the Post says, yeah, we did run it, it appeared, I don't know. To me, that they should have at least waited till Monday and stuck it in the style section so everybody could have read it. It just, I don't know what percentage of the press run only, that included, but it certainly didn't include a lot of the stuff that gets out to the suburbs. So, lame. Anderson Cooper's new show called Anderson, 4 o'clock on showing locally 4 o'clock on Channel 7. Got a 4th place on Monday in the debut show. So Channel 7 is going to have a lot of work cut out for them. It ain't no Oprah. It ain't going to bring Oprah ratings for Channel 7, and that's going to hurt Channel 7's 5 o'clock newscast. Hold on a second. Phone's ringing. An unknown caller. I love it. That's right. We're doing this show live. have. So anyhow, it looks like Channel 7 is going to have trouble with the Anderson show, unless, of course, it suddenly jumps up in the ratings, and it's definitely going to hurt their 5 o'clock newscast, something that Channel 7 can't afford because their 5 o'clock newscast is one of their better-rated newscasts. Also, the other big news is it looks like the Citadel-Cumulus merger is coming up this week, so if that does get approved, we're hearing that there's going to be a bunch of changes in the Washington cluster of Citadel, which is WMAL News Talker, WRQX 107.3, and VRX, The Edge 105.7, or 5.9, excuse me, 105.9. We're hearing that there's going to be some changes. You know, maybe classic rock on 105.9 will go away completely. But what will replace it? Might it be a relay of WMAL? I think that's a likely possibility, but there's also talk that Citadel could put some other kind of a music format on 105.9. But, you know, I have to say, if you look at WTOP, the one thing that, you know, WTOP has done a lot of things right. One of the things WTOP and All Newser, which was Bonneville, now it's Hubbard, did right was moving lock, stock, and barrel to FM. You know, there's just a lot of young people, and I'm talking about under 40, who just don't listen to AM. It's like it ain't even there. And if WMAL wants to get some decent ratings, and you know, they can get decent ratings and they can get some good ad revenue, but I really think they need to add an FM signal. And, you know, I think it's going to happen. I really do. I'm not saying that happily, because I do like Mike O'Mara and I do like Kirk McHugh and I do like Surf, even though the music that's being played on the station ain't necessarily my cup of tea. I do like the personalities over there on 105.9, so we shall see. We shall see. Interesting also to see that Channel 9 still hasn't announced a permanent news anchor, sports anchor replacement for Brett Haber. You know, we reported a while back that Brett was leaving at the end of the month, going off to do some freelance stuff in the Tennis Channel and all that other stuff. But, you know, in the olden days, you know, you had a couple top news anchors. You had your top weatherman and you had your top, sports guy, you know, and it's interesting that in this day and age of, you know, female skewing news audiences, that Channel 9 just doesn't seem to care. It really seemed to be a terribly big priority to have that top sports anchor. You know, this doesn't mean they're not going to have sports on Channel 9, but it just means we're not going to go for that top sports anchor. And you can already see that at Channel 4. You know, after George Michael left, you know, they had a couple. They had Lindsay for a while and some other folks over there, and Dan Helly and all that, you know, but nobody's really become the top sports anchor over there. They have a bunch of sports anchors, you know, but you don't really have the top one, like a George Michael was, you know, like a Glenn Brenner was. So it's interesting to see how that's changing, and I do think you're going to see a trend of more of, you know, they'll have some, you know, more of a team effort rather than top anchors, you know. You're going to have a bunch of top anchors, a bunch of news anchors, a bunch of weather folks. Right now, you know, you have Topper on 9, and you have Doug Hill on 7, and you have Doug Kammerer there on 4. You know, I really do think things are going to be changing. And, you know, the top sports anchor at stations, I think you're going to see that a less important position. Also interesting news, Washington jumps to the 8th largest radio market, up from 9th. That's because the new census data came out, and radio firm Arbitron has decided to move Atlanta from 7th to 9th, which bumps up Philadelphia into the 7th place and bumps up DC into the 8th place, with Atlanta taking 9th place. Also, in the reconfiguration, Baltimore moves up from 22nd to 21st. So that's interesting. So, you know, moving up. You know, now if you work in the Washington market, you can say, hey, I work on the 8th largest radio market and not the 9th, which is really going to land you a whole bunch more jobs and be so much more prestigious, right? All right, folks, that's the big news for today, the 13th of September, 2011. Have a good one. Don't forget to stay tuned and cut